Hello there. The US administration is considering imposing travel restrictions, potentially banning citizens from 36 additional countries from entering United States, most of which are from Africa, of course. Now, this is according to their internal State Department. Earlier on, the US administration signed a proclamation that banned the entry of citizens from other 12 countries, saying that this move was needed to protect the United States against foreign terrorists and other national security threats. Now, this directive was part of an immigration crackdown launched this year, which has included the deportation of thousands of illegal immigrants who are in the US back to their respective countries, including efforts to deny enrollment of some foreign students in United States universities and deport others. Also, there was deportation back to El Salvador of hundreds of Venezuelans suspected of being gang members. So the US State Department outlined a dozen of concerns about the countries in question and sought corrective action. That is why they identified 36 countries of concern that might be recommended for full or partial suspension of entry if they do not meet established benchmarks and requirements within 60 days. So before I give you the list of these countries, mostly African, the US State Department claimed that some people in the US came from countries that lack competent and cooperative government by some of the countries mentioned, which cannot produce reliable identity documents for its citizens. Another reason was that their countries of origin had questionable security of that country's passport. Another reason for the ban is that some countries were not cooperating in facilitating the removal of its nationals from the United States who were ordered to be removed. Some countries were overstaying their visas. Their citizens were being granted because some could go to USA on visit visa, then they end up vanishing. Other reasons of concern were nationals of countries which were involved in acts of terrorism in the United States or anti-Semitic or anti-American activities. Now, the 36 countries which could face full or partial ban if they do not address this concern within the next 60 days are Angola, Antigua and Barbuda, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Benin, Bhutan, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire. There's also Egypt, Gabon, Gambia, Ghana, Kyrgyzstan, Liberia, Malawi, Mauritania. There's also Nigeria, Niger, Dominica, Ethiopia, St. Kitts and Nevis. We also have Santa Lucia, Sao Tome and Principe. We also have Burkina Faso, Cape Verde, Cambodia, Senegal, South Sudan, Syria, Democratic Republic of Congo, Djibouti, Tanzania, Tonga, Tuvalu, Uganda, and Vanuatu. Other countries which were also banned earlier were Iran, Libya, Somalia, Afghanistan, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Myanmar, Chad, Congo Republic, Haiti, Syria, and Yemen. The entry of people from 7 other countries were also restricted, and that is Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela. Now, if this ban works, citizens from these countries subject to partial or full ban on travel to US will face partial or complete suspension of immigrant or non-immigrant visas. Citizens from countries which have partial restrictions will no longer be able to apply for immigrant visas or non-immigrant temporary visas covering permanent immigration. However, students' visas and tourism visas, including something called B1, B2, FM, and J, will still be able to apply for some temporary visas. Now, these new rules apply to only people outside the US by the time of the proclamation and who did not yet hold the visa at the time of the proclamation. However, this new suspension and restrictions will not apply to lawful permanent residents in the US, also known as the green card holders. Also, it will not apply to existing visa holders. It will also not apply to foreign diplomats who are traveling under some certain kind of non-immigrant visa categories. It will also not apply to dual citizens of the countries included in the ban. That is if they are traveling on a passport of a country that is not subject to the ban. Now remember, this ban will also not apply to athletes or members of athletic team such as the coaches, people performing supporting role, and immediate relatives traveling for a major sporting event such as World Cup and Olympics and so on. It will also not affect the immediate family immigrants. They have a kind of visa called IR1, CR1, IR2, CR2, and IR5. Provided that they provide clear, convincing evidence of identity and family relationship, like maybe DNA. This ban will also not affect adoptees from a banned country. It will also not affect Afghan special immigrants visas. It will also not affect special immigrant visas for US government employees and immigrant visas for ethnic religious minorities facing persecution from Iran. It is also not clear whether it will affect the new green card winners who are still outside the US. As they say, they are trying to make America great again. Though we shall provide a deep analysis on this in my YouTube channel. Kindly go and subscribe for more information beyond this. Till next time, bye-bye.